Before that, we kind of taught gen ed for the first 2 years of the pre-engineering program. Now we have statics, dynamics, and all the courses needed for second year. In the fall of 26, we'll have all the courses for third year. In the fall of 27, all the courses for fourth year. This is a partnership with the University of New Orleans, but if something went wrong, we'd be ready to stand it up ourselves over the next 3 years. We're very excited about that. Without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Ms. Lacey Melanson, Executive Director of the Coastal Center.
Thank you, Dr. Clune. I could let him do the presentation and just click through the slides. He covered a couple of my slides. So the Coastal Center started back in about 2019 with former Governor John Bell Edwards. And as Dr. Clune said, we are the university that's closest to the coast. And Senator Allen was instrumental in making sure that Nicholls State University was primed to be the location for this Coastal Center facility. So what are we here for? We're actually here for multiple reasons, one of which is to be a collaborative hub between partner organizations, including parish governments, ports, levee districts. Another is to support CPRA's annual plan and master plan in efforts of research for protection, restoration, and preservation of our coast. And ultimately, our research will focus on the Atchafalaya Basins, Terrebonne Basin, Lafourche Delta, pretty much all of the Bayou region. And the most important to me is to encourage future generations to get involved in coastal work. We want to make sure that we have students coming through Nicholls, whether to be a scientist, biologist, a mass comm student telling a story about what South Louisiana is about. Those are all components of the Coastal Center. So as I mentioned, we will have different areas of focus. Nicholls State University already does research in the way of supporting CPRA's master plan and supporting different things with regards to habitat, sedimentation, water quality, and some of the others listed above. We're looking to elevate some of that research and potentially add in new things for Nicholls State University. So why are we the coastal campus? We already have multiple organizations on campus that operate with the university. We have the Barataria Terrebonne National Estuary Program, Restore Retreat, Coastal Technical Assistance Center, the Bayou Region Incubator, Morganza Action Coalition, and as Dr. Clune mentioned, we already house some offices for the Governor's Office of Coastal Activities temporarily on campus until our facility is open. In addition, we have lots of other things going on, and I actually have slides on some of these, so I'll wait to mention them later. And the part about collaboration that I mentioned in the very beginning, it is very important for us to collaborate in our entire region and support our entire region. We are very involved in the process of working with Dr. Brian Roberts with the Atchafalaya NER, as well as the Coastal Resilience Hub. I see a few people at St. Mary Excel here. And so we participate in these work groups to make sure that we're collaborating and enhancing what each other's doing as far as efforts and initiatives to provide resiliency for our communities. So the facility components is broken up into 3 different components. As Dr. Clune mentioned, we have about a 40,000 square foot facility. To the left is the research, or I'm sorry, to the right is the research labs. We have about 9,000 square foot of lab space. In addition, we have an educational and operational component in the center, which I'll show you some renderings of what that space will look like. And then we have a conference center as well. So I'll show you a brief video. It's going to take about 60 seconds to watch. And this is construction of the facility. So we broke ground in August of 2023. And as you can see here, even though this video happens in about 60 seconds, the construction has been a lot longer than that, obviously. I started on this project, I started at Nicholls State University in December of 2023. So literally as the slab was being poured for the facility, I've been in and out of the facility when there were just studs, and then watched all the wires and the progress of the facility take place over the last year and a half. So it's anticipated that we're going to get keys to the facility soon. However, there are different components to this construction. So we have the main facility being constructed right now. Within the facility, we have about 5,000 square foot of space where CPRA's Thibodeau Field Office will be moving into, as well as the Governor's Office of Coastal Activities. That build out comes separately. So that's actually going to happen as soon as our construction ends. And that's about a 6-month build out process. And then once we get keys to the facility, we'll be able to start receiving furniture and all of the good things that go into this entire space. So we're hoping and anticipating a fall ribbon cutting. So just to slow this down just a little bit, here are some current pictures of what the facility looks like. It's a beautiful facility, it's massive, and we are super excited about having this on campus. Here's a few pictures of the inside and a rendering of our tree. So with any state project that receives capital outlay, a certain portion of that has to be dedicated to art. So our artist is Brent Bornage. He's out of New Orleans, and he is actually constructing a windswept tree that's going to be in the atrium. So the left picture is from upstairs looking down into that atrium. And this windswept tree is meant to show resiliency in our community. If any of you have ever been to the LSU Center for River Studies in Baton Rouge, we will have a similar map on the wall in our atrium. And then we have an educational exhibit space. So we anticipate about 8,000 to 10,000 visitors into the Coastal Center every year. We're hoping we'll be open to the public. We're hoping to have field trips come through the space, students come through the space. And so our exhibit space, actually the floor plan was inspired by marsh in coastal Louisiana. So this is what that exhibit floor plan looks like. And each platform has a dedicated topic, everything from the creation and settlement of the coast to native and invasive species, and all of the interesting things that we have evolved in our communities with regards to floodgates and flood protection and engineering solutions with living shorelines, shoreline protection. We'll have a little bit of every topic covered in here, as well as some call to action platforms. So if people want to get involved and want to learn how to volunteer or how to participate in different efforts, they can do that through the space. So here's a rendering of what that space will look like. We have different components in here, interactive components, and then we'll have some digital components as well. And our current exhibit and atrium sponsors, I'd like to thank them, were Energy, BitNet, Lafourche Parish Government, ConocoPhillips, and Quipro. And meeting room space. I mentioned the conference center. We do have a few rooms within the building that showcases opportunity for meeting rooms. This is one of our labs on the right, and on the left, the hallway down the lab. So if you notice, a lot of the rooms have storefronts, and that again is to encourage collaboration and for people to come throughout the building and see what's happening inside the labs in that exhibit space. And Dr. Clune already mentioned this, but we will have BitNet will be housed in the building, as well as Restore Retreat, the Thibodeau Field Office for CPRA, and Governor's Office of Coastal Activities. So just briefly, aside from that great building that we have being constructed on campus, we also have a 277-acre farm and field research station that's about 3 miles south of Nicholls State University. This is where a lot of that boots on the ground work is already being done with regards to native plantings. We're growing oak trees that are saltwater resistant on this farm, many different initiatives here, but these are efforts that are already taking place. We also have our Fouchon Coastal Research Facility, and this facility allows us, again, to have boots on the ground and in the water, water access for our students and faculty to conduct some of this research. And then we have the Center for Bayou Studies, which focuses on the culture and environment and preservation of our culture. And last but not least, we are working on an initiative right now in partnership with Balance Media building, in the works of building a human platform. I am not the expert in this area. I can connect you to people who are, but just a little blurb about it. It's an AI-driven platform that would allow different data sets to be able to communicate. So if you think about all the different data sets for coastal Louisiana, think about the Nicholls research data sets, and you think about CPRA's data sets, and you think about maybe wildlife and fisheries. This platform would allow for those data sets to be able to communicate. So great initiatives happening at Nicholls and through the Coastal Center. And I think we're taking questions at the end, so I'm now going to turn it over to Captain Kelly Denning.
All right, just click, right? Woohoo, easy peasy. All right, good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here with you today to talk about the plan for the Universities of Louisiana Maritime Academy. So I met many of you in my previous capacity when I was sector commander and captain of the port up in New Orleans, so it's really a pleasure to get to know you in a new capacity as executive director for ULMA. So I don't think I'm telling you anything you don't know when I tell you that Louisiana is one of the most important maritime states in the nation. 1 in 5 jobs in the state is connected to the maritime industry. Marine businesses have grown by 9% over the last decade. Wages in the maritime economy have risen by 14% in the last decade. And just last week, I hope you guys all saw, but President Trump signed the Restoring America's Maritime Dominance Executive Order, which directs a report to be developed that addresses the workforce challenges in the maritime sector through maritime educational institutions and workforce transitions by analyzing the impact of establishing new and expanding existing merchant marine academies as a means of education, training, and certifying additional credentialed merchant mariners. This video correctly states that commercial shipbuilding capacity and the maritime workforce of the United States has been weakened by decades of government neglect, leading to decline of a once strong industrial base. And that rectifying these issues requires a comprehensive approach that includes expanding and strengthening recruitment, training, and retention of the relevant workforce. Complementing this executive order is the Shipbuilding and Harbor Infrastructure Prosperity and Security, or SHIPS, for America Act of December 2024. This is led by Senator Mark Kelly, who is also a Merchant Marine Academy graduate. In addition, calling for the establishment of a strategic commercial fleet of 250 U.S.-built, U.S.-flagged, and U.S.-crewed vessels intended to meet national security requirements and maintain a U.S. presence in international shipping. Also calling for a mandate to determine if additional state maritime academies should be established to support the needed future workforce. So I give you all this background to underscore the program in the fall of 2026. The program license and summoned as well with a 2+2 program and recertification to mariners. And this Louisiana and also in the inland waterways and along the Gulf. So we are working on that. labs, firefighting, pools, and launching survival craft until we're able to build our own facilities. So that's how we're going to get those early. I'll hand it over to Jeremy now.